In this demonstration, we're now going to go ahead and look at implementing runbooks with Azure Automation. There aren't too many questions on the exam specifically around Azure Automation, but it is important to understand how you would set up an Azure Automation account and know about some of the runbooks that exist, and certainly you can expand upon this and create your own runbooks as well. Runbooks are really nothing more than automated workflows, so various tasks that you want to occur in a sequence. That's where the runbooks come in. So to get started, let's head over to the portal and go ahead and create our Azure Automation account. So in Azure, the first thing we need to do is select Create a Resource, scroll down to Monitoring and Management, and select Automation on the right-hand side. Go ahead and give your account a name. Select your subscription, and use an existing or create a new resource group. Next, you'll need to choose a location. Note that not all the regions are available here. So if you're in the US, you'll predominantly use East US 2, which is there for you. So go ahead and select that. And this part is very important. You have the option of creating an Azure Run As account. So this essentially creates those service accounts for you that you will use to execute and run your various runbooks. So runbooks don't really run as a user. You would generally run them in the context of another account. And by selecting yes to this creates that account for you. So generally speaking, you simply want to select yes for this unless you've already, built service principals and accounts, using another method in your enterprise. But with that done, go ahead and click Create. That will initialize the deployment, and within a minute or two, that automation account should be ready for you. Okay, so we're notified that that completed successfully. Now we can go ahead and go to our automation account. If we just type automation in the search at the top and select our automation account. And here we are. And a few things to point out first of all. On the right-hand side, we've got a typical overview pane, various job statistics. So this is around the workflows that might be running, workflows that have failed, workflows that have completed. But to begin, let's scroll down on the left-hand side and take a look at some of the runbook options. So if we look at runbooks, we can see, this is where we can add a runbook, we can browse gallery. There's some runbooks already published here from the tutorial section for us. We can go to the runbooks gallery and take a look at, various runbooks that have been published. And you can choose here from the source, so you can choose between the PowerShell gallery or Script Center. You can filter by PowerShell script if you want to look at graphical runbooks or PowerShell workflows, as well as if you just want to restrict your filtering to Microsoft published ones or include community ones as well. So a lot of people in the community build Azure Automation runbooks and they publish them up to the gallery, and then you can simply take them from there and begin to use them. So if you do want to use anything from the runbook gallery, simply select it. There are a lot of them in there for starting and stopping VMs, scheduling and doing it in all different ways. Let's say you wanted this one, you would simply select it, and then you would go ahead and import that into your library basically, and you can give it a different name if you want to. You can also then go ahead and edit it and change things around if you want to as well, but this is a good way to get started pretty easily. What we're going to do though is go ahead and just create a very basic runbook to begin with. So I'm going to go back to the automation account, go over to runbooks, and go ahead and click Add a Runbook. And we're simply going to click the Quick Create option, create a new runbook, and give it a name. So we'll do a Hello World runbook in this example. And then for our runbook type, we will choose PowerShell. And you will notice that they've recently added this Python 2 option here. So if you do want to author runbooks in Python, that's a new option that's currently in preview. But for now, we'll simply select PowerShell as our option, and you can give it a description if you want to. Then click Create. And then what you'll notice is that the runbook is created, and you'll see the Edit PowerShell Runbook page that opens up. And on the left-hand side, you can see we've got various commandlets. So if we want to pull from PowerShell commandlets, Azure RM compute commands, they're all in here. We can kind of expand them out and use these commandlets to kind of build up our script as we want to. So it's just an easy way to kind of get around if you don't want to kind of go looking up PowerShell commandlets. But for right now, we're going to do something very basic. We're just going to go in on the right-hand side and type in param. So we're going to declare a parameter that we're going to ask the user for. And we'll put in the first parameter. We'll make sure it's not required. So we'll set a default parameter. Okay, and then we'll do the parameter as type string, and we'll call it name. And so if we go down below, we can simply put our script to say hello $name with an exclamation point at the end. And we can go ahead and save that. And then if we want to, we can publish it. But for right now, let's just go ahead and test it out. So we'll hit the test pane. And on the right hand side, we can put in a parameter if we want to. So you can see, because we've got that input parameter, it's asking for the name. But I can go ahead and run it without. But one thing to point out, as you can see, so first thing, when you run a runbook, it has to be queued up. So it waits for a cycle of compute that it can then, put this runbook script on and then run. In this case, it's completed already now. But if I wanted to put, hello students, we could do that. And go ahead and hit start again. It's queued up, waiting to execute. Completed, and you can see hello students. So definitely, if you're familiar with PowerShell, this should be right at home for you. Otherwise, just go ahead and look at the gallery, take some other runbooks from there and utilize those, until you kind of get familiar and get what you actually want to do. A lot of people do use these as automation runbooks as a response to events. So there's a lot of new services like Event Grid coming out too, where you can say, okay, when this event happens, fire off this runbook, or you can also just, from other monitoring alerts, fire off runbooks as well. Like, let's say you had low disk space on the C drive of a Windows machine, and it's because you had a bunch of logs that you put there and you probably shouldn't. You could have a runbook go in there and actually just kind of remove those for you periodically or in response to that event. Speaking of periodically, if we go back to our runbook itself and go ahead and publish this runbook. So that's one thing you do have to do before it's available to use. So let's go ahead and publish it. This allows you to also do some element of versioning control as well. But you will see that you have this option that appears now where you can now view the code, edit still, go back into that screen we were just at. But the schedule option is also available to you. So you can select schedule and you can link a schedule to this runbook. So we can click that and create a new schedule as well. So if we wanted this runbook to just occur at a periodic period of time, like maybe every morning at 9 a.m., that's where a lot of people do like these startup VM ones, that's like 6 a.m. before everybody comes in. They make sure everything is powered on and ready to go, and then shut down for developers, at 5, 6 p.m. whenever they go, depend on different time zones, etc. But this is a way you can schedule it to run, when you decide to do it. And with that, this concludes this demonstration and hopefully gives you a good overview of Azure Automation and how to implement runbooks.